Are you looking for the best Keurig coffee maker? Today I'm sharing my review of the Keurig K-Slim coffee maker. Hey everyone, I'm Coral and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, click that subscribe button down below and hit the bell for practical tips for a home you'll love. So if you've been around for a while, you know that my husband and I are huge coffee addicts. We absolutely love coffee. I have done several different videos about our different coffee bar setups and how we've decorated them. And I also did a video about our Nespresso machine. I have a review that you can see right here. But when my son was born about a year and a half ago, we decided to switch over to a regular Keurig. We had a Keurig for a really long time in the past, switched to a French press, and then we started using the Nespresso machine, and we just felt like it would be a little bit easier with a newborn to use a Keurig again. So I did a bunch of research and found this Keurig K-Slim coffee maker, and we have been using it ever since. I'll be sharing the key features, how it works, and my overall opinion of this coffee maker. So the name of this coffee maker is the Keurig K-Slim coffee maker. This is one of the Keurig coffee makers that only makes the single serving coffees. So you have to use either a K-cup or one of their reusable pods, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. It's not one of the machines that you can use a carafe with. We actually used to have one of those Keurigs several years ago. They are a lot bigger and bulkier, so when buying this Keurig, I wanted something that was a lot slimmer. And if you want something that is slim and not really wide or large, you're going to want to go with something like this that only makes the K-cups. So with each of my reviews, I always like to start off talking about the price. So currently the price for this coffee maker is $129. Generally on Amazon is where I see this sold, but I have also seen it sold on a couple of different websites as well, and most of them are about the same price. I have also seen it on sale a couple of different times for around $100. Now at $129, that makes this Keurig about the mid-range of the Keurigs of similar models. Some other Keurigs that I had considered when buying this Keurig and looking up and figuring out which one we wanted to get was the Keurig K Mini Plus, and that one sells for about $109. And the other one on the other end that I was also considering was the Keurig K Supreme, and that one goes for about $159. So it's nice that this one is right about in the mid-range of prices with the Keurigs. With the K-Slim Keurig, you have 3 different cup sizes. You have 8 ounces, 10 ounces, and 12 ounces. For me, that is absolutely perfect because I like to use the 10-ounce cup size based on the coffee cups that we use in our house. That's just the right size of coffee for me, and I really like the flavor of that size. If you're looking with something with a little bit more options, you might want to go with something like the K Supreme. That one has, in addition to the 8, 10, and 12 ounces, you also have the 6-ounce size. You can also brew a strong brew, and you also have the over ice option. So there's just the 3 basic options with the K Slim. If you're looking at something like the K Mini that I mentioned, that one does not have different cup sizes. You actually choose the amount of water that is going into the Keurig every time based on your cup. You fill it up, pour it into the machine, and that's the amount of water that comes out. Next, let's talk about how to actually use this Keurig. So in order to brew coffee with this Keurig, the first thing that you're going to need to do is to lift up the handle. You actually don't even have to press the power button. There is a power button on the top of it, but you can just lift the handle and that will start to turn the machine on for you. Then you're going to grab your K-cup and you're going to place it into the machine and then close the lid. As you are closing the lid, you'll hear a little pop sound, and that is the needles puncturing the K-cup so that the water can actually go through it. Once you close the lid, then all of the cup sizes are going to start blinking so that you can choose your 8, 10, or 12 ounces. And then once you do that, the K in the middle is going to start blinking. Once you press the K, then your coffee will start brewing. So one quick tip with this that you want to make sure that you do is actually press that K button. This is a mistake that I make sometimes whenever I am sleepy or early in the morning when I'm first getting up, is forgetting to press the K. So if you don't finish the whole entire process by pressing that K button, then your coffee will not start brewing. So that can be confusing for some people. So the other lights and buttons that this Keurig has on the top is the add water light. So whenever the water gets low and you try to start brewing your coffee, it will blink if you need to add water and there's not enough water to make the coffee in the machine. There is also the descale light. Now this light is supposed to illuminate every 250 brews to tell you that it's time to descale your machine. Descaling your machine just gets out all of the mineral buildup that is in the machine and cleans it out. That way your coffee tastes good and your machine runs properly. Now, I will be honest with you guys, we have had this coffee maker for a little over a year and a half now, and this light has never turned on, and we have absolutely gone over 250 brews. We make about 4 cups of coffee a day in our house, and so it should turn on about every 2 months for that, and it has actually never turned on. I'll be honest, we have never descaled this machine. I have been meaning to, but with a toddler around, it just doesn't happen like that. So I'll probably descale that machine here in the future and add a video in on that to show you guys how to do that as well. The last button that is on the top of this machine is the power button. And like I said before, you don't actually have to press this. You can if you want to, and it will turn it on. The only time I really press this power button is if I lift the lid to pull out a K-cup and throw it away, and then the machine turns on. And if I don't want the machine to be left on, I will just press the power button to turn it off since I'm not going to use it. So one feature of this coffee maker that I love is that it makes fast and easy coffee. Like I said, we switched to this coffee maker when my son was a newborn. I bought it maybe when he was just a couple of weeks old in order to get really fast, really easy coffee. That's the part that I love the best about these Keurig machines. This coffee maker can make coffee in about 1 minute and 40 seconds, and that's super, super fast. Like I said, all you need to do is to pop in a K-cup and make your selection and the coffee starts brewing. I timed it the other day and it takes just over 30 seconds for the coffee to start coming out of the brewer, and then by about 1 minute and 40 seconds your coffee is completely done. So that's nice and fast, especially if you are a parent like me or somebody who is in a hurry in the morning. That is some quick coffee. I also love that it's super easy with the coffee pods. That's a big reason that we have changed our different coffee makers so many different times. I absolutely love French press coffee, but as a parent, that is just way too much work and it takes way too long to make coffee. And so I love the quick, easy, fast coffee that you get with this coffee maker. It also heats up really quickly. Like I said, it takes about 30 seconds from the time that you press the K, from the time that your coffee starts coming out of the coffee maker. So it's really nice that it makes the coffee quickly and doesn't have to take a lot of time to warm up. Some other Keurigs that we have had in the past, you had to wait for the Keurig to turn on and heat up before you can even make your selections. I love a coffee maker like this where you can choose your coffee or start your coffee before it's even heated up and ready to go. So it takes 30 seconds to heat it up and about 1 minute after that before your coffee is ready to go. Another thing I absolutely love about this coffee maker is that it is small and compact. This is actually the #1 reason I chose this coffee maker, because it is nice and slim. It's the K Slim, so it's very, very narrow on the counter. I have done so much work in this coffee bar and done so many different videos about the different setups that I have in our coffee bar. And so I didn't want to take up a lot of space or really mess up the nice aesthetic that I had in the going in the coffee bar. So it was very important to to me to find something that was very slim and didn't take up a lot of space. Like I said, our Keurig that we had before was very, very wide and bulky, and I love how narrow this Keurig is. To give you the dimensions for this Keurig and to show you how small it is 4.76 inches wide, so it's less than 5 inches wide. It is 12.14 inches high and 15.2 inches deep. So it's not a lot of space that it is taking up on your counter. It's very easy to slide under your cabinets and still be able to use very easily. And then it's not taking up a lot of extra precious counter space. Because of this, there is still room for you to add an extra drawer for the actual coffee pods if you want to underneath it. But because it was so slim, I didn't want to take up the extra width with a drawer. And so we use a K-pod carousel next to our coffee maker. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I just personally don't like the K-cups rolling around in drawers. Those and the Nespresso pods, they just make such a mess in the drawer. So I like to have them contained in some way. So like I said, you could put a drawer underneath it to store your K-cups, or you could get something like the K-cup carousel that we have to keep your K-cups next to it, and it's still not taking up a ton of space on your counter. The removable water reservoir was another one of the key features for me whenever I was choosing this Keurig. So the water reservoir that comes on this coffee maker is a 46-ounce reservoir. It's removable. You can just easily grab it off the back of the machine and then fill it up and put it back on. It slides onto some tracks in the back of the Keurig, and honestly, I keep mine pushed up back against the wall and the cabinets, and you don't even have to see it in order to put it back in. I use one hand to grab it and to put it back in with full water, and I don't have any issues with it at all. We do fill ours up with the filtered water from our fridge. That way, with using filtered water, you're getting less of the minerals into the coffee maker and creating buildup. And it also helps your coffee taste a little bit better because you don't have all of those extra things in the water. Like I said, the water reservoir was a big reason for me to choose this coffee maker. For comparison, for the other Keurigs that I had mentioned, the K Mini Plus does not have a removable water reservoir. So like I said, I was looking for something really small, and the K Mini Plus is going to be one of the smallest ones that they have, the smallest one out there. But the thing with the K Mini Plus and the K Mini is that you have to fill up your coffee cup with water and then pour it into the back of the coffee maker. I've never owned one of these myself, but I have used several of them in different hotels, and I just don't like having to fill up the coffee maker every time. I needed something that had a full water reservoir on the back that I could pick up, take to the fridge, and fill up. Now, this 46-ounce water reservoir works great for us. You can brew 4 10-ounce cups of coffee before you need to refill it. For us, that works perfect because I drink 2 in the morning, my husband drinks 2 in the morning, and then when we're done with our coffee, it's empty. I fill it up at night, and then it's ready to go for the next morning. So that size is actually perfect for us. Now with the Keurig K Supreme, that one has a 66-ounce water reservoir. So if you're looking for something with a little bit more water capacity, that might be the one that you want to look at. But with that larger water reservoir, it does make it take up a little bit more space on your counter. So like I said, the reason I chose the K Slim is because it took up one of the least amount of spaces on the counter. But if you're looking for a larger water reservoir, then you might want to look at the K Supreme instead. One cool thing about this coffee maker is that it can also be used with the refillable coffee pods. So Keurig makes a refillable coffee pod called My K-Cup, and it costs $19.99. So if you want to use a specific type of coffee that isn't offered in the K-Cups, or you don't want the extra plastic waste by using a new K-Cup every time, you can purchase that in addition and use that with this Keurig. This is nice because it can save you money because those K-cups can get expensive over time. For us, it's just a lot easier with a toddler to just grab a K-cup and pop it in and use a new one every time and not have to refill it. Years and years ago when we had our larger Keurig, we did actually use this because there was a certain brand of coffee that I liked at our local grocery store that they didn't make K-cups in. So I did refill it every time, but you have to dump it out in the trash and rinse it out and refill it every single time. If that's what you're looking for, then that's great. That's a great option that you can have with this coffee maker as well. Another nice feature with this Keurig coffee maker is that it turns off automatically. After 5 minutes of not being used, the Keurig will just turn itself off. And then the next time that you're ready to use it, just turn on the power button or open the lid and it's ready to go. It doesn't really make a difference for this coffee maker because it heats up so fast and is ready to use so fast. So it turning off after 5 minutes, it's just a nice power saving feature, and it doesn't make any difference in the time it takes to brew your coffee. Now, one big difference that the new Keurig K-Slims have that my coffee maker does not have is Multistream Technology. Now, all of the K-Slims that I have seen on sale currently all have this Multistream Technology. So what is Multistream Technology? What this is different than what Keurig has generally used in the past. It's actually 5 needles in the top of the Keurig. So it has more water coming through the K-cup whenever it is brewing the coffee. The more needles are supposed to make for more flavor through the coffee because it has more contact with the water as it is going through the K-cup and coming out to your coffee maker. Now, my Keurig that I bought a little over a year and a half ago doesn't actually have this, but as I was doing research for this video, all of the K-Slims on the market right now have this Multistream Technology. So if you're buying right now, that is what you're going to get with your Keurig. And for my overall opinion, to me, the biggest pros for this Keurig are, number one, that you can make fast and easy coffee. You can have coffee in your hand in just a little over a minute and a half, and that is certainly important for busy people like me. It's small and compact and doesn't take up a lot of room on your counter, and the removable water reservoir makes it nice and easy so that you don't have to refill the water every time. For me, this coffee maker is absolutely worth the money, and it is probably one of the most used items in our home. If you want more reviews about other products I use in my home, click right here for my product review playlist. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.